Hi, I'm Corey Christensen with Concrete Coatings. Today we're going to be installing our Living Earth water-based stain. We're here at our good friend Tim Welsh from Beehive Cheese. He's volunteered his house for us to do this installation on, so he does have a few cracks. We're going to fix those first. We'll show you how to do that with our CR Fast product. Incredibly fast setting crack repair. And after we do that, we'll wash the whole floor here, and then we'll begin application. So first of all, we're going to take our grinder, our 5-inch angle grinder with a 5-inch blade on it. We're going to just open up these cracks so that our CR Fast product has a little bit of room to do its magic. You'll want to make sure that you have the proper PPE when you're doing a job like this. We've got our ear protection and our eye protection. If you're going to be doing any sustained grinding or cutting whatsoever, you'll want a dust mask as well. Okay, after we cut the cracks, open them up a little bit, we're going to blow them off with a leaf blower or sweep them off with a good broom, which we've already done. Then we're going to take some of this industrial quartz that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, very inexpensive, and we're going to fill in the crack. We've got our little ketchup bottle applicator. Get these at Harbor Freight because you're going to waste them, go through them pretty fast, especially with this CR Fast product. So we're going to fill in the crack with that. And you want the sand to be a little bit below the top, because as we come back with our CR Fast, we want it to go into the crack. We don't want it to just go all over the surface. So we're just going to use our little brush here, our happy little brush. Make sure that the corner of this is filled pretty good so that doesn't go all over. Now our CR Fast product it's basically the consistency and the viscosity of water, so it'll go wherever the path of least resistance is. It is a 1-to-1 mix ratio. We like to use just a cheap funnel, and again these little squeeze bottles you can get from your local hardware store. Only mix up the amount that you are going to be able to use in a very short period of time, because it does go very, very fast. And generally, when we deal with epoxies or crack repairs, you're going to want to use a drill to mix it. If we used a drill to mix this, it would just get too hot and go off too fast. So we're just going to add the part B, the hardener. Set our funnel off to the side. We're going to put our lid back on, plug it up, and just kind of mix it up, just like that. And we're going to start applying. We want to try and keep it in the crack as much as we can, because again we don't want it to just go all over. As you're applying the CR Fast, after you've gone down a couple passes, you also want to come behind and add a little bit of quartz to it as well. That'll do a couple of things. That'll help you not have to use so much material. And then when you come and grind it flush, it'll give whatever you're going to be applying over it, something to bite to or bond to. So after our CR Fast is cured all the way, we're just going to come back and we're going to take our 16 grit Zec wheel. The reason we're going to use this instead of a double cup row diamond grinder is that we want it to mainly take off the epoxy and not do too much damage to the surrounding concrete. And these Zec wheels, these 16 grit carbide wheels, are just great for that. They'll take off most of the epoxy and really not damage the concrete around it. We're going to grind all of this flush, and then we're going to cut a new expansion joint. Okay, now that we've got the repairs taken care of, we're going to go ahead and get started preparing the surface to accept the stain. And to do that, we're going to use our Easy Prep material. It's designed to etch and clean, and that's exactly what we want it to do, is to just open up these pores a little bit for us and to get any of the gunk that happens to be on here. I've seen some rust stains, see if we can't take some of those off with the pressure washer. This will just kind of help loosen those up. We're just going to use our trusty HDX sprayer here from Home Depot. We like these because they're cheap, and when we ruin them, which we always do, we can just throw them away. They're about $10, so pretty easy to throw away a $10 sprayer, as opposed to some of those higher end sprayers that cost a lot more. So anytime we're running anything through it that might ruin it, we just use these throwaway sprayers. We're going to use it undiluted. If you're doing an acid stain, you want to dilute it about 10 parts water to 1 part Easy Prep. But where we're not going to do an acid stain, we're going to be doing a water-based stain. We want to really etch this surface, open up the pores. To apply the Easy Prep, all we do is pump up our pump sprayer and just use circular motion. You can see those suds. Some of that is a sudsing material that we have in the Easy Prep, and some of it is its reaction with the concrete, because it is an acidic product. It's etching that concrete for us. Alright, now that we've got our Easy Prep down and it's doing its thing, etching the concrete, we're going to pressure wash the whole surface. We're going to want to try and get rid of any debris, any stains that there may be. We use the Mighty M 4000 PSI pressure washer. We sell them. We also sell the Mighty M, we call it Big Bertha. It's about a 20-inch walk-behind unit. Much, much easier than a handheld wand or anything like that. If you've got a big surface, we'll take care of it in no time. We're going to use our pressure washer now. We're going to pressure wash the whole surface, and then we're going to let it dry. On almost all of your projects, you can use the Living Earth water-based stain just as is. There are a few projects, however, where the concrete's just too porous to accept the stain, and in those occasions you're going to want to use the Living Earth primer. It is a water-based primer. It's an acrylic-based product that's going to seal off the pores and going to help that stain sit up on the surface so you can see more of the color. We'll show you how to do that now. You want to make sure that the surface is masked and that anywhere that you don't want anything sprayed onto is covered. Cardboard's always great for that. And then again, we're just going to use our HDX sprayer. It's a water-based product, so you're not going to have to worry about it damaging or killing anything. You just want to keep it off of things that you don't want anything to get on. We're going to just spray in circular motions, just a light misting. All we're trying to do is close off those pores. We're not really trying to put any color right now, and as this dries, it's going to be clear anyway. All we're trying to do is just close off those pores. You can determine whether or not your project needs the Living Earth primer when you do your representative sample. If when you do your sample the color falls out, or if it's just not quite as vibrant as you want it, try a primer in that sample area. See if that helps. If not, you may need to call us and we may need to help you out and see if there's not something else going on or if another color is more suitable for your project. So after our primer is dried, if you're using one, or even if the surface is wet, if you haven't used one, if it's damp, you don't want it to be standing water, but if it's damp, or like I say, if the primer is dry, you can go ahead and start with your Living Earth water-based stain application. The nice thing about the Living Earth stains is that they are a water-based stain. They're a pigment-based stain, which means that unlike our vivid acid stains, which chemically react with the cement that's in concrete, the water-based stain leaves a pigment. So there should be color regardless of the condition of the concrete. That said, the pigments do tend to settle while you're going, so just make sure that you shake it up while you're spraying it, and that you spray in kind of some random patterns. You don't want there to be any lines. Now we're using Arctic Gray, which is our lightest gray. It's kind of a natural concrete gray, so it can be a little bit difficult to see on some applications. Okay, now that we've finished applying the stain, we're just going to let this dry completely. We're going to unmask everything and we'll seal it up. Okay, now that we've got the stain applied and it's completely dried, we're going to go ahead and apply our sealer. We're going to use our Super Seal 2000. Nice thing about our Living Earth water-based stain is that you can use any of our sealers. Obviously we're outside, so we'd only want to use one of our acrylic sealers or one of our polyaspartics as well. We're just going to go with our Super Seal 2000. We've got a bucket here. We're going to throw some slip grip into there to add a little bit of traction, a little bit of slip resistance for the family when things get a little bit slippery out here when it gets wet. So the way we're going to apply the sealer is just a regular dunk and roll. We've got our Purdy White Dove 3/8 snap roller.